Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Rupinder Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. Health Ministry says daily COVID recoveries continue to outnumber new cases for the 16th consecutive day. Over 284,000 patients recover in the last 24 hours. National COVID-19 recovery rate further improves to 90.80%. Over 173,000 new cases reported yesterday, the lowest in the last 45 days. Government is continuously providing vaccines to the states. Over 22 crore 77 lakh COVID vaccine doses given to states and union territories so far. Government informs that the country now has surplus quantity of antiviral drug remdesivir due to centre's active intervention. Indian Railways distributes more than 20,000 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen to various states across the country. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says America will never forget India's help during the early days of COVID. India and U.S. vow to support each other amid COVID crisis. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio tomorrow. GST Council examines import duty on COVID-19 related supplies, including drug used in treatment of mucormycosis till the 31st of August. Wheat procurement during current Rabi season touches an all-time high of over 400 lakh metric tons. Today is the International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. And in sports, Amit Pangal, Shiva Thapa and Sanjeev enter the finals of the Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, take all precautions, and all those above 45 years of age who have taken the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine to get vaccinated with the second dose at the scheduled time. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The national COVID-19 recovery rate has further improved to 90.80%. The Health Ministry said daily recoveries continue to outnumber the daily new cases for the 16th consecutive day. The weekly positivity rate stands currently at 9.84%. Daily positivity rate is 8.36% and it has been less than 10% for 5 consecutive days. At 1.73 lakh daily new cases, the declining trend in new cases is been maintained. The daily new cases are the lowest in the last 45 days. In the last 24 hours, 284,601 patients have recovered. The active caseload in the country has further declined to 22,28,724. The number of active cases decreased by 1,14,428 in the last 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, 3,617 deaths were reported. With this, the death toll due to the pandemic has reached 3,22,512. Under the nationwide vaccination drive, 20.89 crore vaccine doses have been administered so far. In the last 24 hours, over 30,62,000 vaccine doses were administered. The Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, said over 34 crore 11,19,000 samples were tested till yesterday. It said over 20,80,000 samples were tested yesterday. Vaccine is a crucial tool in the fight against the dreaded coronavirus disease. The liberalized and accelerated Phase 3 strategy of COVID-19 vaccination drive has already begun in the country. Our correspondent has filed this report on the government's efforts to vaccinate all the beneficiaries in the shortest time.
The government has said that the centre is allocating enough vaccines to the states in a transparent manner. States are also being informed in advance about the availability of vaccine doses. The central government has provided over 22 crore 77 lakh COVID vaccine doses to states and union territories so far. Of this, the total consumption of doses is over 20 crore 80 lakh. More than 1 crore 82 lakh COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories. Apart from this, states are also getting 25% of vaccine doses and private hospitals are getting 25% doses through other channels. The Union Health Ministry has assured that 4,86,000 vaccine doses will be provided to states and union territories within the next 3 days. The central government is also facilitating direct procurement of vaccine by the states and union territories. The union government has stressed that vaccine availability is going to increase in the near future. It is estimated that over 200 crore doses of vaccine will be produced by the end of December this year. Bhupendra Singh, AIR News, Delhi.
The Government of India is regularly interacting with national and international vaccine manufacturers like Pfizer and Moderna to make more COVID-19 vaccines available in the country. The Union Health Ministry has said that the concrete actions are a stern indication that the government is making all efforts to increase the vaccine production in the country. It said as of date, India is using 3 vaccines against COVID-19 in its immunization drive. It includes 2 made-in-India vaccines, Serum Institute of India's Covishield and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin, who have supplied about 7.92 crore vaccine doses in the month of May 2021. The Russian Sputnik V is the 3rd vaccine to get approval from the Drug Controller General of India, DCGI, for restricted use in emergency situation and is being used in few private hospitals, which is expected to be increased over the coming days. The minister further added that the manufacturing capacities have been ramped up and that vaccine being a biological product takes time for harvesting and quality testing. This cannot be done overnight to ensure a safe product. Thus, increase in capacity of manufacturing too needs to be a guided process. Union Minister of State of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Mansukh Mandviya, has informed that the country has now surplus quantity of antiviral drug remdesivir due to centre's active intervention to ramp up its production. Mr. Mandviya said that production of the vital drug used in the medical care of serious COVID patients has been ramped up nearly 10 times in a short span of just 1 month. He said, starting from the production capacity of around 33,000 vials per day in mid-April, the nation today produces around 350,000 vials of remdesivir in a single day. The minister also informed that the number of production plants of the antiviral drug has been increased from 20 to nearly 60 plants within a month. Mr. Mandviya asserted that the country has now enough remdesivir as the supply is much more than the demand. The minister informed that the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority and the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, CDSCO, have been directed to continuously monitor the availability of remdesivir in the country. He said the centre has also decided to procure 50 lakh vials of the antiviral drug to maintain it as a strategic stock for emergency requirement.
Indian Railways has delivered more than 20,000 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen and more than 300 oxygen express trains to various states across the country. On mission mode till now, oxygen expresses offloaded medical oxygen in around 39 cities in 15 states across the country. Oxygen expresses offloaded liquid medical oxygen, LMO, at 41 stations in these 39 cities and towns. Oxygen relief by oxygen expresses reached out to 15 states, namely Uttarakhand, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Haryana, Telangana, Punjab, Kerala, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand and Assam. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said America will never forget the help provided by India during the early days of COVID. Mr. Blinken said India was there for the United States and now the USA wants to make sure that America is there for and with India. He said the US and India are united in confronting COVID-19 together.
The United States and India are working together on so many of the most important challenges of our time and ones that are having a profound impact on the lives of our citizens. We're united in confronting COVID-19 together. We're united in dealing with the challenge posed by climate change, and we are partnered together directly through the Quad and other institutions of the United Nations in dealing with many of the challenges that we face in the region and around the world. The partnership between the United States and India is vital, it's strong.
He said both countries are partnered together directly through the Quad and other institutions of the United Nations in dealing with many of the challenges that we face in the region and around the world. Mr. Blinken said the partnership between the United States and India is vital, it's strong and it's increasingly productive. Earlier, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington last night. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said there was productive discussion on various aspects of the bilateral cooperation as well as regional and global issues. Both leaders discussed Indo-Pacific and the Quad, Afghanistan, Myanmar, UNSC matters and other international organizations. He said discussion also focused on Indo-US vaccine partnership aimed at expanding access and ensuring supply. Dr. Jaishankar appreciated strong solidarity expressed by US at this time.
I want to take the opportunity to express to the Secretary and through him to the administration, to the United States for the strong support and solidarity at a moment of great difficulty for us.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said India has indicated a willingness to import vaccines and accept vaccines that have been cleared by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Talking to media in Washington, Dr. Jaishankar said there was a discussion about such possibilities at a policy level, but this is a decision the administration has to make. On whether U.S. administration spoke to him for India's help in COVID origin probe, the minister said a group of WHO officials visited China and submitted a report. He said India's position is that a report is the first step and further studies should be done for robust position. He said it was not discussed during his visit to the U.S. Replying to a query on Quad, Dr. Jaishankar said it fills a very important gap that emerged in contemporary times. He added that Quad is an expression of convergence of interest of many countries. He said it is a reflection of the contemporary nature of the world order.
Bihar is witnessing a sharp decline in fresh COVID cases. The state's recovery rate has risen to over 95%, while the test positivity rate has declined to 1.93%. Positivity rate in the state has come down below 2% after 50 days. The number of active cases is also decreasing and presently stands at 24,809. Over 6,72,000 people have so far recovered from the infection. 1,785 fresh COVID cases were reported in the state during the last 24 hours and 5,362 people recovered yesterday. Over 1,290,000 people have been vaccinated in the state so far. In Gujarat, a total of 2,521 new COVID-19 cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The State Health Department said 7,965 patients recovered in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate in the state stands at 93.36%. 27 patients died due to COVID-19 yesterday. At present, there are 43,611 active cases in the state.
In Madhya Pradesh, the COVID test positivity rate has come down below 3%. The number of new patients is steadily decreasing in the state. More details from a Bhopal correspondent.
Corona infection is decreasing rapidly in Madhya Pradesh. 47 districts of the states now have less than 5% infection. In the last 1 week, new cases have fallen by 43%. According to the official health bulletin, 1,854 new corona patients found in the state yesterday, while 5,796 patients become healthy. Meanwhile, the state government has implemented Mukhyamantri COVID-19 Anukampa Niyukti Yojana for the dependents of employees who lost their lives from corona. The family of outsourced workers will also get the benefit of this. Rashid Ahmed Khan, EIR News, Bhopal.
The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, NCPCR, has asked all states and union territories to upload data of children who have lost either one or both parents to COVID-19 on its Bal Swaraj portal. Bal Swaraj is an online tracking portal of the NCPCR for children in need of care and protection.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Health Ministry says daily COVID recoveries continue to outnumber new cases for 16 consecutive days. Over 284,000 patients recover in the last 24 hours. National COVID-19 recovery rate further improves to 90.80%. Over 1,73,000 new cases reported yesterday, the lowest in the last 45 days. Government is continuously providing vaccines to the states. Over 22 crore 77 lakh COVID vaccine doses given to states and union territories so far. Government informs that the country now has surplus quantity of antiviral drug remdesivir due to centre's active intervention. Indian Railways distributes more than 20,000 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen to various states across the country. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says America will never forget India's help during early days of COVID. India and U.S. vow to support each other amid COVID crisis. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio tomorrow. GST Council exempts import duty on COVID-19 related supplies, including drug used in treatment of mucormycosis till 31st of August. Wheat procurement during current Rabi season touches an all-time high of over 400 lakh metric tons. Today is the International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. And in sports, Amit Panghal, Shiva Thapa and Sanjeet enter the finals of Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Midday News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio tomorrow at 11 a.m. It will be the 77th episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan and also on AIR News website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR, DD News, PMO and the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. AIR will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. The regional language versions will be repeated at 8 in the evening. The Maharashtra School Education Department Minister Varsha Gaikwad said yesterday that the Board of Education aims to declare results of the 10th standard by the end of June. Due to the outbreak of pandemic, the Department of Education had earlier announced the cancellation of Class 10th examinations. More from a Mumbai correspondent.
Education Minister Varsha Gaikwad announced that every student's 100 marks of each subject have been divided into different sections on the basis of their school performance. According to state government's formula, 30 marks for written examination on 10th syllabus, 20 marks for homework done by 10th standard students and oral examination, and 50 marks for class 9 results. The minister stated that although students of class 10 will be passed altogether, if they are unhappy with the assessment done by the schools, they will be able to take the common examination test as an alternative for admission for class 11. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
The GST Council has exempted import of amphotericin B used for treating mucormycosis from levy of IGST. Briefing media after the meeting, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the Council had a very detailed discussion on COVID-related equipment in its meeting yesterday. The Finance Minister said GST Council has decided to waive IGST on free COVID-19 related supplies imported from abroad. So far, the IGST exemption was available only when the relief items were being imported free of cost. This exemption has been extended till 31st of August. The Finance Minister said 4,500 crore rupees were paid to 2 vaccine manufacturers as advance payment. She said supply of vaccines will increase in the coming months.
We have allowed Sputnik to come. Sputnik ready to use is also getting imported, and the country has opened itself up for all those, whether it is Japanese or European Union or US approved vaccines or anything which is certified by such authorities to come and manufacture in India for India and for the world. We are constantly engaging with a lot of these suppliers and also manufacturers of vaccine, like the way negotiations are being held with Pfizer. So these are ways in which vaccine is being obtained. In the coming months, the supply will also be far more than what it is now.
Annual return filing has been simplified. The Finance Minister also announced amnesty scheme for small GST at taxpayers, allowing filing of returns with reduced late fee. She said one of the biggest decisions taken yesterday is the reduction of compliance burden of small taxpayers and medium-sized taxpayers.
In order to provide relief to the small taxpayers, an amnesty scheme has been recommended for reducing the late fee payable in these cases. A large number of taxpayers will benefit from it. 89% of the GST taxpayers constitute small taxpayers. So, taxpayers can now file their pending returns and avail the benefit of this amnesty scheme with reduced late fees.
The procurement of wheat in the Rabi marketing season 2021-22 has crossed 400 lakh metric ton mark. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution said that so far a quantity of over 400.45 lakh metric tons of wheat has been procured, which is an all-time high. It has exceeded previous high of 389.92 lakh metric tons. The ministry said procurement of wheat is continuing smoothly in the procuring states and union territories. They include Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. About 42.36 lakh farmers have already benefited from the procurement operations with MSP value of over 79,088 crore rupees.
The Civil Aviation Ministry has said that airlines can operate with 50% of flight operations from the 1st of June of next month. Earlier, the permitted limit was 80%. The step has been taken in view of the sudden surge in the number of active COVID-19 cases, decrease in passenger traffic and passenger load factor. The Civil Aviation Ministry has increased the limit to 80% in December last year as a measure to open the domestic flight operation in a calibrated manner. After the initial restrictions on the domestic flight operations due to outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in the country, the central government had permitted the domestic flight operation in May last year. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Ministry has decided to raise the minimum fares of domestic flights from 13 to 16%. This will come into effect from the 1st of June of this year. Director General of the Central Reserve Police Force CRPF Kuldeep Singh has been given additional charge of Director General of National Investigation Agency NIA. Mr. Singh will hold the additional post after 31st or this month after superannuation of YC Modi. Union Home Ministry has informed that Mr. Singh will continue to hold the additional charge till the appointment of the next DG, NIA or any further orders in this regard.
Today is the International Day of UN Peacekeepers. This day is observed on the 29th of May every year to pay tribute to peacekeepers' contribution and to honor over 4,000 peacekeepers who lost their lives serving under the UN flag since 1948. The theme this year is The Road to a Lasting Peace, leveraging the power of youth for peace and security. Around 90,000 men and women work in peacekeeping missions worldwide to protect civilians, help achieve and maintain peace, and defend human rights. The peacekeeping force was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1988. Our correspondent has filed this report.
India has been and remains one of the largest contributors of troops to UN peacekeeping missions. More than 2 lakh Indian troops have served in UN peacekeeping operations so far. Over 160 Indian peacekeepers have lost their lives serving under the UN flag. Indian Army contributed troops during the Korean War from 1950 to 1954. Since then, India has participated in more than 50 missions. Indian peacekeepers have been deployed in some of the most dangerous and challenging missions, including in South Sudan, Congo, and Mali. Retired Major General S.B. Asthana of United Services Institution in India says that they play an important role in restoring peace.
जब भी दो देश आपस में लड़े तो उसके बाद सबसे पहले तो मध्यस्थता की जरूरत है। फिर मध्यस्थता करने के बाद में मान लो लड़ाई बंद हो गई तो इस चीज की जरूरत है कि भाई कोई ये उसको देख पाए कि वो लड़ाई दोबारा ना शुरू हो। और उसमें क्या होता है कि बीच में जैसे आपने लड़ाई हुई और ये हो गया कि भाई ये बाउंड्री बन गई या ये नो मैंस लैंड बन गई, इसको कोई क्रॉस नहीं करेगा, दोनों जो पार्टियां जो लड़ाई कर रही थी, तब यूनाइटेड नेशन के पीस कीपर्स को भेजते हैं। वो किसी यूनिट की तरीके से हो सकते हैं, जैसे मिलिट्री यूनिट है हमारी या मिलिट्री सब यूनिट है या पुलिस यूनिट्स हैं।
Former head of mission of the United Nations Protection Force in erstwhile Yugoslavia, Padma Bhushan awardee Lieutenant General Satish Nambiar says that India has been playing an important role in this mission since the very beginning.
जब से ये यूएन की पीस कीपिंग ऑपरेशन स्टार्ट किया था तब से हमारी देश इसमें हिस्सा लेना शुरू किया है। एज अ फाउंडिंग मेंबर ऑफ द यूनाइटेड नेशंस हमारी कमिटमेंट जो है वो एक हद से हम दिखाते हैं। सबसे पहली मेजर पार्टिसिपेशन जो हमारी थी वो कोरियन वॉर में था 1950 में। वो पीस कीपिंग ऑपरेशन तो नहीं था लेकिन यूएन ऑपरेशन था, तब से स्टार्टेड है।
This is a day to remember and honor all peacekeepers who have lost their lives while serving under the UN flag over the past 7 decades. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
In Maharashtra, 3 villages in Nandurbar have achieved the target of 100% immunization for people above 45 years of age. More from our correspondent.
The Purushottam Nagar Gram Panchayat had registered 365 citizens above the age of 45 for vaccination. Achieving this objective, the Gram Panchayat has also completed the registration of 288 beneficiaries in the age group of 18 to 45 years in the village. On the other hand, both Singavan in Nandurbar Taluka and Sagli in Navapur Taluka have also achieved 100% target for immunization of citizens above 45 years of age. In Singavan village, 431 people over the age group of 45 were registered, and today all the registered citizens are also being vaccinated. The villagers use various tactics like Corner Sabha, Gram Sabha, Davandi for public awareness. The village head and the health officer of the primary health center also addressed various doubts and queries regarding the vaccination. Most importantly, there is not a single active corona patient in these 3 Gram Panchayats today, and the villagers say it has been possible due to the 100% vaccination program. We have with us Gram Sevak of Sagli, Daulat Kokni, saying how his village achieved the target.
गांव के सरपंच, ग्राम पंचायत सदस्य तथा और सारे लोगों को घर घर जाकर टीकाकरण का संदेश पहुंचाया और एक दूसरे को प्रेरित किया। इस कार्य के लिए गांव के आशाताई, आंगनवाड़ी सेविका, सारे शिक्षकगण, पुलिस पाटिल, तंटामुक्त अध्यक्ष, बचत गट अध्यक्ष सचिव तथा युवा वर्ग मित्र मंडल का सहकार्य अनमोल है।
देवप्रिय भट्टाचार्य, AIR न्यूज, मुंबई।
Defending champion Amit Panghal, Shiva Thapa and Sanjeet have reached the finals of Asian Boxing Championship in Dubai with resounding victories in the last 4 stages yesterday.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. The national capital Delhi is having partly cloudy sky. The maximum temperature will be around 40 degrees Celsius. The minimum was 27 degrees. Mumbai is facing generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The maximum temperature will be around 35 degrees Celsius, rising from a lower level of 27 degrees. Kolkata is having partly cloudy sky with the possibility of moderate rain. The city temperature will move from a minimum of 27 degrees Celsius to a maximum of around 34 degrees. Chennai is witnessing mainly clear sky. The upper limit of the temperature will be 40 degrees Celsius, while the lower limit was 28 degrees. Srinagar is having mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 14 and 31 degrees Celsius. Jammu is having mainly clear sky. The temperature will rise from a minimum of 30 degrees Celsius to a maximum of around 40 degrees. Leh is having partly cloudy sky. The upper limit of temperature will be around 21 degrees from a minimum of 5 degrees Celsius. Gilgit is having partly cloudy sky. The temperature will move from a minimum of 15 to a maximum of 37 degrees Celsius. And in Muzaffarabad, the sky is mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Health Ministry says daily COVID recoveries continue to outnumber new cases for the 16th consecutive day. Over 284,000 patients recover in the last 24 hours. National COVID-19 recovery rate further improves to 90.80%. Over 173,000 new cases reported yesterday, the lowest in the last 45 days. Government is continuously providing vaccines to the states. Over 22 crore 77 lakh COVID vaccine doses given to states and union territories so far. Government informs that the country now has surplus quantity of antiviral drug remdesivir due to centre's active intervention. Indian Railways distributes more than 20,000 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen to various states across the country. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says America will never forget India's help during the early days of COVID. India and U.S. vow to support each other amid COVID crisis. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio tomorrow. GST Council examines import duty on COVID-19 related supplies. including drug use and treatment of mucormycosis till 31st of August. Wheat procurement during current Rabi season touches an all-time high of over 400 lakh metric tons. And with that, we end the midday news.